What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Going Live with the MC. I am your host, MC Reef, and today we have another dope guest. This person is a huge advocate for the educational system in the black and brown community, specifically because, we don't have a lot of people that understand what's going on and are willing to step up and make the change. But this person here has definitely checked all the boxes as someone who wants to do the work. So the person that we have here, who I am working on inviting, he's a director of social services and he is a social worker in charter schools. Welcome to the chat, Dr. Abdullah. Sorry for
Peace,
the
brother.
sorry for the internet situation. It's this is why
Nah, it's
robots
all
won't
good.
win.
It's all good, man. I'm up here trying to do 15 things at one time using computer, ring light, everything. This just ain't working. But guess what? I'm happy because I'm here. It don't
Yes,
even
yes.
matter. We here,
I'm
baby.
happy you're here, man. Thanks for being a part of the show, man. For real, it's an
All
honor.
right.
Um, so typically when I started this platform, I was mostly doing music artists, because that's what I related to so much,
Right.
and I felt like there was a world of, of us artists that wasn't getting the recognition. But then I realized that there are a lot more other people that can be classified as an artist, and you yourself are one of them.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
so what I was saying on the other live that I was trying to remember everything that I said, but I was saying that I met you in a whole different light,
Right.
and
Right.
we don't really know who we're around because we don't take the time to like look at them. So it's like having 5,000 followers on Instagram and you're not looking at none of these people's profiles to see like who they are, who they were, who they become from where they were, things of that nature. You don't take time to get to know people, so you just take it for what it is.
True indeed.
Um,
True.
yeah, so I'm glad that I was able to like get to meet you in both of these lights. So another formal introduction. He goes by the name of Dr. Abdullah. He is a director of education, doctor of education, sorry, a director
Right.
of social services, and a school social worker in the charter schools.
Right. Right.
Um, so my first question to you is, what was the last straw? Like, what made you say, you know what, I gotta go speak out about this? Like, these people need to hear my voice because no one's saying it. What was the last straw for
Man.
you?
You know what, man? I I'm gonna be honest with you. It's sad because there were so many last straws. That's where I say that I was. I'm disappointed in myself because
Mm,
I let too many last straws be drawn. And
I feel that.
for me, honestly, the last straw for me was when I was a founding member of an all boys school
Hmm.
in New Jersey, an all boy public school. Now, the reason I say it so specifically to say public
Hmm.
schools because most all boy educational spaces or all girl educational spaces are private,
Hmm.
ran by the archdiocese, ran by the Catholic Church typically, or the Jesuits. But I was a
That's
part.
true.
I was very happy to be a part of one that was ran by the the district. So it was ran by the city, it was funded by the city and everything. So I was really proud of that because I knew the mission was number one, primarily to educate black boys and give
Hmm.
them a leg up in an educational system that's pitted against them 24/7. And the first administrator I had, I mean, this guy, me and him bumped heads a lot, but it was never we bumped heads because he wasn't doing the right thing. It's because I wanted him to do more, and
Right.
I wasn't young, but I was younger. I was young in the field, so to speak. And I was like, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. And he was like, yo, let's do it, let's do it. So I was doing it, and I was like, we should be doing more. And he's like, but bro, we gotta slow down, man. you know. So as they always say, you never miss the how do you say it? Uh, you never miss the water until the well runs dry.
Mm.
So he ended up taking another position, and I got another administrator, I'm gonna put it on the table because it's for you. All
Right.
right. Oftentimes when we see somebody walk in the room that looks like us, we automatically assume we make a lot of assumptions, a
Hmm.
lot of assumptions. And here
Hmm.
I am. I see this big brother, black, dark complexion brother, bald like me. I'm like, oh yeah, he ready to put in the work. Let's go. And
Right.
couldn't have been any farther from the truth, man. This dude was like the worst thing that happened to black boys. And
Damn.
yeah, man, and when asked the question about why things were going south, he didn't say it to me. He said it to a coworker. He said, "Man, look, I'm building a house. I ain't got time to be messing up my money, man." And I said, "Holy moly!" I lost my mind at that point. I mean, I literally used to be up in the morning calling this dude on the way to work. Like, yo, man, and excuse my language, people. I apologize, but this I'm just repeating verbatim what I would say to him on my way to work. I
Right.
said, yo, what the fuck are you doing? That would be every morning conversation.
Right.
I'd call him on my way to work, and he'd be like, "What now, Abdullah?" I'm like, yo, and I would say, "We need to be doing this, 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 and this." And then my wife had to check me. My wife said, "I understand your passion, I understand your love,
Mm.
but you just work there. It ain't your school."
Mm.
And I and that hurt. It hurt to hear that because I've been doing all the study. I've been in school all my damn life. It feels like
Right.
worked in education since '01, and it just didn't dawn on me that some black men don't really care about black boys.
Mm. No, you are 100% right about that.
And
And
you think a bit from a existential perspective. You say, well, dudes in the hood don't think about black boys because they're trying to make their paper. You
right.
think about dudes on the block, they're not trying to think about black boys. They trying to just get fit in their own lane.
Hmm.
Then the average everyday strong blue collar worker, he trying to pay his bills, so he's not really focused on black boys. But I'm thinking this dude is in education like me.
Hmm.
So why wouldn't he be trying to save black boys? He was a black boy at one point in time, but
Right.
that wasn't what it was. So I ended up having to leave that position, man. And I had to tell him to his face, I said, I refuse to be complicit in your failure to black boys. I'm not going to be a part of that, man. So I
Hmm.
ended up leaving the district, went to another district just to retool, to be honest, get my head together
Right.
and get my strengths up. I studied a little bit more. I completed my doctorate. I completed my doctorate in February
Mhm.
of this year. A
Congrats on
doctorate
that.
degree. Thank you, no problem. Doctorate education from St. Peter's University in Jersey City. And at that point, man, I'm gonna tell you, I had to do the research, and my dissertation was on the importance of separate educational spaces and Black American teachers for Black American boys, grades 6 through 12. And what it was for me that really did it for me, all the research that shows that we need these separate spaces, all the research that shows that we need these different types of educational interaction. Man, this research has been around for about 40 years.
Mm. That's
And
true.
what I concluded was this. We have 40 years worth of data that shows that black men are the secret sauce to education. I'm gonna give you a number. Did you know that if you have a black male teacher from grade K through 6, just 1 year, not all years, 1 year as a black man, that increases your graduation rates by 32%?
Seriously.
Just having one in you could have had your first grade teacher, your third grade teacher, your kindergarten teacher, either one, don't
All
matter.
right.
Then it goes further. If you have a black male teacher, if you're any gender or any race, your 1 year between one K through 6, it increases your graduation rate by 18%.
What's the difference? I mean, why the difference, I
Well, the
should say.
difference is that there's going to be a cultural divide. But
Okay.
it just goes to show that just having us in the room increases
It's a big
your
impact.
graduation rate,
Hmm.
right? But this is where it gets real crazy. Why aren't they promoting education to black men?
Oh, it's a whole plot against us, man. They
It's a
know we know
plot,
our power.
man. And
They
let me
know we
tell you
know our power.
something. Let me tell you something, man. I had to accept this fact. You can't in one breath say black men are dangerous, they're debaucherous, they're they're savage, they're uneducated, they're uncivilized, and then turn around and say, but we need them to teach our children. You can't do both. You got to pick one. So
Facts.
they chose the first to just keep up with the narrative that we're uneducated, we're uncivilized, we're barbaric, we're sex driven, and that we offer so very little to the academic spaces. So I said, I'm going to start this channel so that I can teach people about what's going on in the world of education, particularly for our people,
Hmm.
and give them little strategies on how to maneuver. Because I've had instances in my own personal life with my own children where if it were not for me being an educator, I could have got bamboozled.
Hmm.
You, you
That's a
know,
fact.
so I felt, and I'm gonna end my answer with this statement. I want to be the Mr. Abdullah that I didn't have when I was in school.
Mm. I relate to that heavily. See, so a little background about me. I used to actually work with kids in an after school program. I used to work
Okay,
for the Police Athletic League. I felt like I was really good at the job. I don't think, I don't, like, mind you, we was in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods of Redfern, Far Rockaway.
right,
Um, And in my 5 years there, I was able to see that program, that center. It was a very small place. You only had the multi-purpose room, you had the cafeteria, and then in the back you had a computer room. And that was like a very small center. They didn't even have an outside to go outside and play. They did, but it was like very small. So if
right,
you brought the whole center outside, we'd have to move over to the court next door so they could have
right,
space and play.
right.
So I brought them down from being one of the most badly talked about centers, lowest resources and everything, to them being put on the front of the newsletter, which I was writing, by the way.
That's
So I was
right.
writing a newsletter for the entire PAL and stuff like that. And, I just realized, like, I came from this environment of not having nothing. So why would I further,
That's
continue that
it.
cycle?
That's it.
And a lot of the kids they try to make fun of me. They was like, "Oh, you think you good? You think you this? You think you that?" I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm just like you, but
That's
I know
right.
that I have a better mission. You feel me? Like I know what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm not
True.
gonna waste that time." The only reason why I don't still work there now, I hate to say it's about money because it's really not. But I just wasn't. They didn't want to promote me, within the means that I needed to be promoted, and I wanted to become a program coordinator, eventually director. But program coordinator was the open slot
Mhm.
there for me now, and I was more than qualified.
Yep.
Um, and this is going to bring me into my next segment, by the way, too. So they told me I couldn't get the job because I didn't have an associate's degree or a bachelor's associate's. I
Hmm.
didn't have any degrees to work with kids. Like, despite the work that I've already done, that they've seen the evidence, they told me I can't do it because I don't got that sheet of paper. Um, so to bring me to my next point, this is something that I've been saying for a long time. A quick little backstory. My mom never, I'm not going to say she didn't care or whatever the case is, but let's just say she didn't have the knowledge to handle the situation at the time.
I got
You
you.
know, one of my favorite things to say is you don't have to go to college to be successful. And you said it in your episode.
Yes.
Um, I feel
Yes.
like that hits home, and it's not like painting a bad image, like don't go to college or whatever. But it's like if you find yourself in a situation where you're unable to do so, don't let that be your obstacle to expanding your mind. There's other ways you can get out there and learn different things.
Absolutely.
I was actually
Absolutely.
working in a library for those 4 years that I was like waiting for because at the time I was like 19 and I had to wait until I was 24 to be able to sign my own documents by myself.
Right.
So by the time I reached 24, I lost interest in college. I was more like, damn, I've been working around these books. Let me open up some of these, learn some stuff.
That's right.
Um, yeah, so I'm a very big supporter of what you're doing. I'm happy that we have people like you that's really in the community taking a stand. And it makes it even better because you are a father, you know what I'm saying? So you
Right.
understand exactly what's going on. And I don't think you get enough flowers for that, man. So thank you again, for real, for real.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Listen, I want to say that I learned from the best, man. And my mentor, he taught me, he said, success is relative.
Mm,
He used to always say that success is relative. And I didn't really understand that when he started first. I was in my 20s when he started teaching me that.
mhm,
And I was like, oh man, he's trying. If you want me to be 100% honest with you, I thought he was trying to give people a cheap way out. Oh man, you
Mm.
saying that because people they just not gonna work to their potential. He's like,
All
no,
right.
man. He said, no, 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 no. You don't understand. He said because that cat that he was on. I'm gonna keep it raw. You got a cat who was on
Mm-hmm.
dope, right? I mean, on dope 20, 30 years, and we know they out there. On dope
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 years, he gets himself clean. He gets him a little job, get him a gig working at, let's say he's a super.
Mm-hmm.
Got his own apartment. He's cleaning apartments. He's staying clean, and he's living his life. That's success. That is
That is.
success, brother. And you can't
It is.
tell me that's not success because you don't know what he was fighting to get there. The success is,
100%.
but success is based on the fight it takes to get to the goal. See, it's
Mm-hmm.
not the goal. See, that's where we get tripped up. People say, oh, he's successful. Like, for example, Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk is rich, he's famous, but he's not successful. You know why I say that? Because his father and father's father had emerald mines. Dude,
Mm.
you had one of the richest resources at your disposal. You were born with millions at your disposal.
Yep.
So how much work did you have to do? Is that I don't
That's great.
that you've gained notoriety, you've gained wealth, but you're not successful to me. That's just my
No, I'm
perspective.
with
But
you
I
on that.
right. Now I've had students, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I had a student, I'll say his first name is Norris. I had him in 2001. This cat was a hardcore gangbanger. That's all he did. That's all he cared about.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care about nothing. He didn't care about his family, nothing. And but he would come to school every day. I'm like, what is this? He would come every day though. He
All
would
right.
come early to get his tutoring in math. I'm like, yo, this cat is at
Mm.
7 o'clock in the morning getting tutoring in math. But he hated every other subject, but he liked math. Whatever. He made it out. He made it to high school. I bumped into him in my building.
Mm.
This cat he had a custodian's uniform on. I'm like, yo, what you doing? He's like, yo, what's up, Ab? They call me Ab. What's up, Ab? I'm like, what you doing here, man? Don't have me to haul you out of here. He said, nah, man, I work here, man. I started working. I said, word? I said, what you doing? He said, I'm custodian. He said, I got the permanent position. I
Mm.
said, really? He said, yeah. I said, hmm. He started laughing. He said, I already know, I already know. He said, yeah, I had to drop my flag. I said, why? He said, man, I was dating this girl. She was messing around with this dude. Come to find out he was banging the same thing I was banging.
All right.
We got to arguing. He popped me. He shot me,
Mm.
right? He said, at that moment, I realized that it wasn't what they said it was. He said,
Right.
I dropped the flag, told the big homies, I'm done. They blessed me out. I went on about my business. I got me a daughter now. Me and my girl, we together, got a little apartment. Yo, man, I was in tears, man,
Success
because
story.
that's success, man. That's successful. And if he ever decides at some point later on he wants to do something else, then that's further success. So
Right.
I tell people if you are not going into engineering, any of the STEM, medicine, you're not going to like accounting, anything like that, you're not going to law, you don't need to go to college
Mm.
because everything else you can nowadays with AI and with online learning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be very honest with you, man, colleges, brick and mortar buildings, they're going to be obsolete in the next 10 years, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I tell people if what you do does not require college, don't go. It's a waste of money.
I actually just found something out. I don't know the dude's name. I'm assuming he's one of the newer NBA players, but he was saying that his agent was telling him that he has to do 1 year of college and go to the league. Otherwise, that's gonna like make him. That's gonna be the superstar moment. Because if you stay past a year, it degrades your value as a player or
All right.
whatever that means. So he was explaining that when we have to take like those huge testing in college and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
athletes or anybody of that power, they just write their name on the paper and that's it.
They don't take those tests,
But
brother.
at first I didn't know that because it
A
was like,
lot of people
yo,
don't know.
And that's just crazy. Like, so a lot of these, you mean to tell me that over, let's just say 85% of players in the NBA can't even read?
Let me. You want to? No, 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 no. You
Like,
ready
they
for
don't
this one? Let's go
understand.
back. Let's go back, man. Please. I don't know the numbers. I don't like giving numbers unless I know them. But there's a high percentage of young brothers who come out of high school who can't read that ain't going to the league.
Right.
Brother, I had to, and this is where you got to learn to be hated. I don't
Hmm.
mind being hated if it's for my people, right?
Right.
I had a young man that was phenomenal on the football field. He was monstrous. He was on huddle.com. He was been wrote up in the papers.
Mm.
This guy didn't have anything higher than a 40% in every class. And they were letting this young man start on the games. So I went to the coach. I said, let me tell you something. You let him start, I'm calling the AD and I'm going to go to the direct. I'm going to the superintendent. You're not gonna pimp him out because guess what? He couldn't go to anybody's college because he
Mm-hmm.
had all F's. He couldn't even go to junior college. He couldn't go to anywhere. And I'm like, so you just got this boy banging up his body on his high school field so you can get a championship with no future in mind.
No
None.
future.
None. And I'm not buying that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's acceptable. And it's about time that some of us start stepping on toes for children that are not our own. That's just the
Hmm.
long and the short.
I like that you said that. See, so I'm gonna just be honest right here. Usually, I do this completely off the mental. Like, I be knowing the person that I'm talking to so well that I could just fly off the top. But I needed to be prepared for you, so I wrote down some things.
All right, all
And
right.
and you just said something that was on there. So I paraphrased it a bit. My saying is the village no longer exists. So I
Uh,
was I'm an uncle. I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, nine to be exact.
damn.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so my siblings have been busy. I ain't got none
Uh,
yet. But no, and I have talks with them all the time about, like just staying sharp, being aware of your surroundings, understanding what you're dealing with, the people you're around. Another thing is, damn, there's so many things I wrote down. But it's just a sense that actually there was a situation that happened, I want to say like maybe 2 weeks ago. One of my nieces came upstairs and she was like hysterically crying because, somebody was bothering her outside the school. It would have gotten physical or whatever.
okay.
But the only thing that really bothered me was that every time I go downstairs, there's always people in front of the building. So you mean to tell
Right.
me y'all watched that whole situation unfold and no one thought to step in and say, yo, you way bigger than this person, or pick on someone your old size, or however they would have diffused the situation? There was nobody there.
Oh yeah. It was
Like, they was
somebody
there
there.
physically, but there was nobody there, like, to say, yo,
Well, let me
they
address
need us.
let me address that. And I've never understood it. I understand it now, but I don't subscribe to it. Let me say
Hmm.
that.
I feel
I
that.
understand what you're doing, but that's your thing. That ain't mine. So if I see, I've got in the middle of things where I see a young man about to scrap it up, and it's how you approach him,
Mm.
And I've diffused crazy situations, right? I mean, wild situations, right? And I went up to the dude like, look, brother, let's not, please. And so I think brother think you got to walk up, yo, you ain't gonna do that. No, that ain't gonna work, because
Right,
now
right,
you
right.
become now you're the enemy, right?
100%.
So I walk up to him, I say, please, please, brother, don't do this. We got these babies out here. Please don't do that for these babies. And I'm gonna tell you
100%.
something. I'm gonna tell you something. We stand down on that. We
Hmm.
stand on down when it comes to the babies. If people don't think we do, man, we may get buck wild and do something crazy and the babies get caught up. But if you make mention of the babies before it come up, a lot of brothers they stand down. They be like,
Yeah,
all right, man, and they walk it off
right,
because they know that they remember when they were that age. You get what I'm saying?
right.
And some teachers and educators and building personnel, they will quickly say, I don't want to get involved in that, man, because
Yep.
it's if it go left, and I understand, I get it, but I don't subscribe to it because somebody's got to be the one to step in and say, "Come on, man, come on, let's go, please, let's let it ride.
Right.
Catch them next time, not today. Let
No,
them
for
live."
real.
I always say my favorite one, let them live. Just let them live. Let them live, G. Let them live. That's my favorite one. And I've diffused a lot of situations using that because I recognize that there were situations that I was in that nobody diffused it, and it just went crazy,
Yo,
you know. And
what?
I got 21 stitches in the back of my head right now because something went crazy and nobody diffused it, you know. So I remember what the doctor told me when he said, "Yo, you could have died from a closed head injury." So I'm thinking every time I see kids get into it, I'm like, don't think it's just a fight. Somebody could
Right.
fall, hit their head. Somebody can, and everybody's got a friend or a cousin or a nephew or a niece that can come up there and turn it up.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
let's just stop it now before it goes that far.
No, real talk. And I'm very glad you said that because, these kids these days really don't know how to take a L.
Nah.
Back then we had to see you like three, four, five more times in the street to settle that. But now it's
Right,
like, oh, I lost. All right, I'm gonna make your life a hell, or I'm gonna just take it away. Period. And it's
right,
like, come on, man, like just
right,
learn from your loss,
right.
like. And that was our biggest thing growing up. We really had to learn from that. We had to know not to touch that person's stuff again. We had to know not to say something about his mama. We had to know
That's
not to
right.
mess with that person, little brother or sister. We
Hmm.
had to learn the hard way, and we knew it though after that first moment. Like, all right, you got it.
That's true. That's true.
So that's pretty dope that you say that. Um, hmm. Cell phones in school. That's something that I definitely wanted to talk about as well too. And not just in school. I have this situation in my own home. Just balancing the screen slash real life ratio. And obviously the kids think we're just taking away their freedom. Oh, you're not allowing us to have fun or da da da.
Yeah,
But if I can tell you how many times I've confiscated a laptop or a phone and I see something on there that I'm not supposed to see.
yeah,
And my thing is, what really bothers me is that when it comes down to a certain situation, like say you need to learn the definition of a word,
mm,
and now you're so heavily reliant on your device that you forgot there's a dictionary in your room.
mm-mm. I don't know about
And
that.
yeah, and it's stuff like that where I like have to constantly like remind them like, yo, it's okay to like, open your mind and try to learn something. It's okay to, instead of creating a ruckus through the house, to actually pick up a book and read it, even if you read the book two or three times.
Yeah,
It's okay to like challenge yourself. And that's another thing you were saying. They let me see if I wrote that down because I want to get that directly on the. You said they are literally. Damn. I don't know how I wrote that, but anyways, I scribbled that part. But basically, they're struggling in literacy, math, and their ability to compete. And their
hmm,
ability to compete really struck up to me because um, a lot of these kids don't want to do nothing at all. Like it doesn't matter how interesting you make it seem, doesn't matter how boring you make it seem, whatever type of description you put on it to show them that this is something that they could get into, it's just like I don't see you doing it. Or like even if they
yeah,
do see you doing it, it's just like that ain't for me. Because they don't understand it. Like for example, my uncle always taught me to be like very conscious of my health.
yeah.
And it took for him passing away for me to be like, oh, you know what? I actually need to get
Right,
myself right now. So
right. I got you.
yeah, we all fall down that ladder. But I think it's very important. So, what what would you say are some safe practices that we can use to, I guess, minimize the damage that cell phones are doing for kids?
Well, this is the problem. Um, it all starts in the home. That's where,
Mm,
I was taught this early in. They say, you want to know why a kid does what he does? Follow him home. Follow
mm,
him home. Every lesson that kid has shown you, you'll see it right on their doorstep. You probably see it before you even make it to their house.
mm,
And as far as what needs to be done in the home, okay, we'll start there. You need to be limiting screen time. It should be
mhm,
limited. It doesn't have to be cut off entirely. Like, for example, my son during the week, his phone, he gets it from the time he goes to school till he gets home. Now, it's not a big deal because they collect phones at his school, so I
right,
know he's not using it in school,
right,
right? So then he'll get it. So technically, he'll have it for about 30 minutes in the morning. Then he'll have it for about maybe 45 to an hour after school. But then he's got homework to do and shower and get ready for tomorrow. So he's in bed by 8:30. So
mm,
he's off by 8, you know?
mhm,
So he may get a maximum 3 hours a day. Now his
Okay.
bread and butter is Saturday and Sunday. You know, Saturday is his day, but
Right.
Sunday he's off of it at 5:30. He's
Mm.
I collect it, give it over. And the reason being is because I know that these children they believe what's online. They believe it. I mean,
Yep.
when I tell you they believe it,
Yeah.
they don't question it. Like for example, a lot of people don't know uh reproductive rates have decreased
Yeah.
in America
Yeah.
because of online interactions. Uh,
Mm.
we don't even have, this is funny, man. I've been in education for 20 some years, right? Whenever we heard a guy and a girl were dating, oh, they're dating. We knew, oh, we got to watch them. They're going to try to
Mm.
sneak off somewhere. That ain't even the case no more. We don't even worry about that no more
Mm.
because they're just as content just being online with each other all day,
Right.
texting each other all day. And they take their cues from their stars, you know? And I tell people all the time, I say, if your star is not speaking directly to the community, they're not a role model. They got
Mm.
to be speaking directly to the community, not just saying something arbitrary. Oh, saying something that, oh, that sounds good. No, 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 no. What are they
Right.
saying to me? What are they saying to us
Right.
specifically? And we lost that because a lot of the stars in the 60s and 70s used to do that. They would speak
Mm.
directly to the community. They would do things directly for the community. They don't do that anymore. Everybody's just trying to kick their clicks up. Everybody want to keep their followings up, the algorithm stay in the algorithm. But I tell parents, you need to limit that phone time. Schools need to eliminate phones, period, because
Period.
nowadays everyone has a computer. Most
Yeah.
schools are what they call a one-to-one school. One-to-one means everyone has their own
Mm.
device. You
Mm.
know, everybody either has MacBooks, Chromebooks, Hewlett Packards. Everybody's got something. So you can't utilize the excuse of, oh, I need to look it up. Well, you got a computer. You just mad you
Right.
can't go on Instagram. You can't go on Snapchat. You know, you can't go on, Twitch. You can't go on those platforms.
Right.
So that upsets them. But we need to also introduce them to other forms of education. For example, my son, he knows he's required to read a chapter of a book a day.
Mm.
So that's, I say, just read a chapter. I tell him, you could pick the book. It doesn't matter to me. I always pick the book. Like, I don't want to pick it. All right, cool. I got a bunch of books. As you can see, I
Yeah.
got a whole library,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
I'm like, I
Facts.
got a book for you. So he'll read it. So I have him reading books that are actually college level, just so
Mm.
he can be introduced to the words, and I want to increase and strengthen his vocabulary. So I'm not the average parent because I'm an educator. But what I'm doing isn't cutting edge. It's not rocket science.
It's not.
And the thing is that a lot of our parents, and this is no slight on the generations, but let's be clear. My parents are millennials. The parents of my
Hmm.
children, they're millennials. So I got parents that are younger than my kids.
That's wild.
Right. I got my eldest son is 34. I got
Oh wow.
parents that are 28,
Mm.
27. So,
Crazy disconnect.
right. So they're looking at me and it's like, dude, I always say it like this. I'm going to end it on this note. When I first started in education, I was old enough to be my student's big brother. I turned around, I was old enough to be their father. Boom, here I am today. I'm old enough to be their grandfather,
Right.
right? So when I talk about digital and I said, dude, you do realize that I got here without a cell phone. And I tell the kids, you're much smarter than I was when I was your age. So you can get here too.
Yo. For real.
That's just a fact.
Actually, I was just saying to my younger niece because she came from the Beacon program and she had the lanyards that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And she was asking me, do you know how to do any of these designs? And I was like, we didn't have phones before. Like, we had to learn this stuff. Like, we had to really, like, it sounds like
Right.
it's such a petty response, but it was just like, nah, man, we definitely been there before.
Right.
Like, we
Right.
had to do this. Like, we walk so you could run. Like,
Right.
so that kind of, so, um, but I think they do understand it when we say those things to them. It's just that they probably can't envision a time like that.
Right.
Like we
right.
can't envision a time where our parents was walking to and from school like 10 miles. Like we can't envision that
Right.
because
That's
we have a
crazy.
car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I get where they're coming from, but
Right.
we try to bring them to this world like, yo, listen, man, we don't want to live, we don't want y'all to live in the 80s and the 70s and stuff, but we want y'all to understand there's other ways. Like it's
You know what's
totally other
funny,
ways.
man? You'll be hard pressed to find a kid that can use an analog clock.
We have them up all over the house, by the way.
Ask them, say, what time is it? They be like, three something, two something. I'm like, you
No,
know,
you're not
number
lying.
5, 10, 15, 20. You don't know about that one?
You are
And I
not
blow
lying
their
about
head up
it
because
like
on
that.
my phones, I have military time.
Mm.
So that really busts their head open. They're like, what? How is it 14 o'clock? I'm like, it's 1,400 hours. Why you got that on your phone? It's military time. Why you not in the military? I said, because we're the only country in the world that doesn't use military
No,
time.
that's true though,
Right.
because I teach them about time zones as well because they
Yeah.
see me go out the country and they like sometimes when they video call me it'll be daytime here and nighttime there and they're
Right.
like, well, how? So it's just funny that we get to teach them these kind of things. Like it actually, does help to know like what's
Yeah.
really working, what's going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, so that's pretty dope. Let me do a second, check the time real quick. Oh wow, we still got plenty of time. Let me see what else I want to speak on. I was okay, so a conversation I was having before this. Before the live, I was speaking to my nieces. We had like a long conversation, and I actually started playing some of your videos, and they were like here listening. So one thing that we talked about was 32% of fourth graders reading that level at that grade level. Um, for me,
It's wild,
that
man.
that spoke volumes because
Yeah.
I'm a wordsmith, like, and that this is outside of music. I've always been a fan of words, like before I
Right.
even knew that I was doing music. Just learning different words, how to use them, what they mean, the origin of them. Like I'm still learning the origin of certain words and
Right.
stuff. I thought it was just interesting to like, just to know it. And then mind you, my mom used to say, my mom used to always say this. I don't know if she was saying it to be funny, but she always say, "Oh, they killed us for reading books before, and now you wouldn't do it if it kills you."
Ooh,
So
that's
but my
real.
mom used to always say that. But mind you, we always were reading and stuff like that. I think it was just that when we started to prioritize other things outside of it, like, you grow past certain things after a while. You're like, okay, I don't want to read this book for 30 minutes now. I want to actually
Right.
spend 15 minutes outside. Like,
Right.
so she would say stuff like that. But it's like, that's why I thought she was being funny because it's like, we always read. We always had books. We
Right.
were like the only kids at the book fair, like
Right. Right.
stuff like that. So, I find that today is just pretty crazy because I can't have certain conversations with them because they use certain words out of context or they want to express themselves but they don't know the right word for it. It's just a lot that goes into it, and it's just simple communication barriers that form simply just because you're not really opening your mind to like envisioning possibilities. Like, and I think that when you read stories your mind grows at a certain rate to a point where you're able to like your imagination times 10,
Yeah.
like everything just explodes in your mind. You're able to see imagery, you're able to understand wordplay, you're able to understand placements, like things of this nature. So
Yeah.
I forgot the question I wanted to ask you about that. I know you said in the video that it's not just for fourth grader, it goes up by the grade, so even the previous grade is still to blame, so to speak. Where do you think that would need to start at? Because I feel like it starts in, I want to say kindergarten, where they start like reading you books or giving you like books to read, sight words and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, do you feel like it should start a little bit sooner? Like, not even just inside the
Home.
home, but like,
Start at home.
I'm talking
It's
about
got to start at
as
home.
far as school. Because I feel like, let's just say, for example, at daycare, and most daycares, like when I used to take my nieces to daycare,
Mm-hmm.
I realized they don't really read books to them. Like they'll play like, nursery rhyme
Mm-hmm.
music, they'll sing songs, they'll give them this snack in their lunchtime, but you don't
Yeah.
read to them.
Yep. It used to be story time. Everybody
But
just
we
get on
had
that little
story time.
carpet,
We had story time,
get the little juice
yes.
box and the graham crackers, and listen, it starts at home because your children, if they don't see you with a book, They won't think a book is important. And this was crazy because I remember somebody told me this, and I didn't believe them until I saw it. They
Mm,
said when you start doing home visits, you're going to be amazed that there's not a pencil, pen, or book in the entire house.
mm,
To me, I thought that was ridiculous. I said, yeah, right, man, get out of here with that.
right.
And that's why a lot of educators, we started buying pencils and pens for our students, buying paper because they didn't have it. Like we'll be like, yo, did your mom sign a permission slip? She would, but she ain't had no pen. Like, what do you mean she didn't have a pen? Or you mean like in the moment? I mean, what does that mean? And they be dead
Yo,
serious, like, oh, she didn't have a pen.
yeah,
I'm like, you wouldn't one in the house? No, we didn't know where no pen was. And with the advent of phones, what do you need a pen for? And that's how they really operate. So it definitely starts in the house, right? And the reason why is because I think that your child should come into kindergarten knowing the alphabet,
mm-hmm,
right? They should know the alphabet. They should know the numbers up to at least 10, you
right,
know? Brother, I have third graders right now. I have a third grader right now. I'm thinking in my head right now. He can't spell his own name. And he doesn't have a mental deficiency. He's not a learning disabled child.
that is
He
tough.
just never learn. And guess what? If you're a child, there's two ways you can get from up under the yoke of education. A lot of people don't know, but you know it. I'm gonna tell it to you. First way, sit in the back and shut your mouth. Be nice and quiet. They gonna forget about you. Long as you ain't raising hell, they just gonna let you go. All right, he cool. Yeah, yeah. Little Moose's, he's okay. Moose's all right. Let him live. They're gonna
Right.
pass you along. Second thing, no, three things. Second thing, be good in a sport.
Mm,
Oh, they're gonna let you ride. This is gonna let you ride. Oh no, he's good. No, he'll pick it up. Don't worry about it. He'll get it.
right.
And finally, turn up so badly that they just happy them days you not turning up. They gonna pass you to
Mm.
get you the hell out of their class.
That's dope. Actually, that's another point you said too. Um, Teachers prey on the kids that don't have the parents in their lives. And
All day.
that right there stung because, like, again, I was just explaining to them, at points, I would go up to the school and they didn't even want to talk to me,
Mhm.
you know, not for nothing, oh, you're not their dad. Well, I'm their uncle. I live in the house. So they would
Mhm.
try to say, oh, we prefer to speak to mom or dad. And it's like, it's a male figure. Like, we're present. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
here.
Right.
Um, and I felt like that was an attack because, like, even after that, like, everything that happened in the school was like, call mom, call mom, call mom. And I'm
Mhm.
like, hello?
You're right
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Like, hello. So, it just felt like it's either y'all want to play victim or y'all just really don't care about your job that much to make the difference, because I guarantee when I was working with kids or whatever, there were parents coming up to the center to fight me until they realized that I was actually in the
That's
right.
right.
Because they coming up, oh yeah, my kid said you said this. I ain't say nothing of the sort. I'll tell you
That's
what I
right.
said. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you how we got there, and I'll tell you what I saw as the outcome.
That's right.
Like, and when they started hearing that, they were just like, you know what? I like you. I want you here all the time. It changed from that. Like parents were really holding a grudge against me to the point
Hmm.
where, like, they would literally try to wait for me to come out the building after
Oh
work. Like
yeah.
after we closed, yeah, they would wait
Oh
for me.
yeah.
And then, yeah, I've gotten pressed a few times by the parents. I'm like, but you still got to drop your kid off the next day, like.
That's right. That's
So
right.
yeah, they never really took it that far, but it definitely almost got there. But I was happy that at some point they came to and they realized like, yo, this person actually cares. Like this person really is trying to make a difference that we probably didn't see to
And
make.
you know
Um,
what? And I'm gonna say this to reiterate your point. Um, Parents just want to know their kids are safe.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
They just want to know their kids are safe. That's it. Like if you, I had a girl. She left my school. She transferred to another school, but she used to wear her shirt tied up, looking like sexy red,
mhm,
and I was like, "This, are you crazy? You're 12. You're a baby. I got shoes older than you. You're not wearing your shirt like that." So she would always untie it. So she came with her mother to do her transfer. She had her shirt tied up again. I said, "Untie your
right,
shirt." She looked at her mother. I looked at her. I said, "Oh, you thought because your mother was here, I was gonna switch up gears?
Right.
Untie that shirt." And she
Right.
untied it. Her mother was like, "I try to tell her, yeah, 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 yeah." But the point is, I'm not gonna switch gears because I'm in front of other people. Because right is right, wrong is
Right.
wrong.
100%.
And we need to teach our children that right is right and wrong is wrong, no matter who says it. And parents, they're so used to taking their children's word for it and not trusting the educator, they come in guns blazing. And I've had, brother, you don't even know. I mean, I've had people come to the school ready to get at me hard. And I walk outside like, listen, we can do this. I don't have a problem, but give me about 5 minutes to speak to you.
Right.
Then then if you want to do that, you want to knuckle up, let me just take off my tie.
Right.
We'll talk. They looking at the kid. Is this true? I'm like, I ain't gonna lie on you. I said, listen. They said, yeah, but he told me you said you'll yoke him up. Yeah, I told him that. I
Yeah.
sure did. I said,
Mm-hmm.
you know why I told him that? Because that's the only thing he understood. They're
No,
like,
sadly,
and then
yes.
they'll be
Sadly.
like, yeah, he do have a hard ass head. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So we rock out, and parents just want to know that somebody cares about their kid. And if you're that one person in the building that care, they gonna always come to you. I had a
Mm-hmm.
situation. I worked in a school in Brooklyn back in 2012, and my principal was pissed off at me because all the parents would come to me and not her.
Mm-hmm.
And
That says a lot.
when asked why they always come to me, they said, we know he cares about them.
Mm-hmm.
We know we care about our kids. She took that as to mean she didn't. No, it's not that you don't. It's just that they know I do.
Right.
It's an affirmative, not the negative. And that upset her. And I'm like, if it upsets you, do better. That's
Truth hurts.
that's just it right there. And I care about black kids, man. I go to bat. I go to bat for them, man. I make sure my kids know you mine. You know what I mean? I'm like, you mine. You don't even understand. If I tell girls, don't get in no trouble because then you're gonna want to mess it up for my family. How am I messing with your family? I say, because I'm gonna go out there and act like you my kid, and I'm gonna get into some trouble fighting for your ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, real talk. Real talk.
That's because I love our children because I look at them and with just, man, you don't even understand, man. When I see our kids, man, I just I just I just be in total amazement how they flow with each other, how they converse, how quick their minds are, how sharp they are, and how they just I'm like, dude, you don't even understand. You're on the cutting edge of so much greatness, but nobody's feeding you, nobody's telling you. I tell my kids all the time, they be like, yo, Mr. Abdullah, yo, I got an A on this test. I'm like this. Why are you shocked?
Right. Right.
They be like, "Oh, you act like." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. I knew you was gonna get an A. You're brilliant. You didn't know you was gonna get an A." They be
Right.
like, "Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up." You know what I mean? But it's just because I know how great we are, man. I guess I just love black children, man. I just know how great we are in the story.
And that puts a cap on the final writing point that I have. You put out an episode about Save Institute, whose mission is to end the school to prison pipeline. I thought that was really dope. And it kind of just circles around what you were just saying. As long as people know that you care about their child, they're gonna always be there. They're gonna always go to you. And watching that video, I thought that was just so dope. And one of the most interesting things, which I've been also promoting to my youth, creating a business, understanding the fundamentals, just learning how to get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? The mud that's designed for us to stay stuck in and roll around like pigs. Like
Yeah.
we have to learn how to build up from that. So I thought it was interesting that, they actually have a system built for that. And of
Mhm.
course, it's not talked about in the media.
Of
Of
course
course,
not.
no one else knows about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go all the way to your channel to find out about that.
Right.
Like, why isn't like I used to read the newspaper every day. That
Hmm.
was stuff like that was never in the newspaper.
Never.
So um, thank you for really, really shedding light on these things. I feel like if people take the time to actually want to know, they will
Yeah.
find out for sure, and they will also find out there's people like you sharing the knowledge freely.
True indeed. Truly,
You're not out here
truly.
like, yo, you just listen to my video. I need $20 for that knowledge. Like,
No, no,
yeah.
no,
So
sir.
it's just like, yo, it's here for you. You can click, you can play, you can pause, you can save it to watch later as long as you get in these gems, you
That's
know?
right.
So
That's right.
people like me appreciate people like you
I
100%.
appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna say this, man. It's just so many. My uncle, he's a plumber. I mean, he's the dopest dude. My uncle's like one of the dopest men ever in my life,
Mm,
man. And I would go on jobs with him when I was in high school. You know, he would do high end plumbing jobs. You know,
mm,
and he would always say. Now, I remember one time we went to this huge house in the suburbs,
mm,
and the first thing that blew my mind was it had a Gucci entrance mat, a Gucci
mm.
welcome mat.
Okay.
You know, I was like, that Gucci? He's like, yeah. So he come in. Now these clients, yeah, he's had them for a long time, and one of the clients left a note. They were out of the country, but they left the keys for him to come and do some work. They
Mm,
said we had our staff prepare you a lunch, and you could use the
mm.
pool
That's
today. We just got the
dope.
pool clean, so we got done doing our job. He told me to bring some extra clothes. We was in the pool chilling. And the one thing I got out of all of that afternoon, evening, he said, money is all around you. You just got to know when, where, and how to grab it. And some money you grab, you might have to put back because it's not good money. But don't
Hmm.
worry, you can grab it from some other pool. And I'm going to say something that I just never understood. You know what I don't understand? Why we don't have the bodega situation on lock.
Yo, that's a
Bro,
great question. Like,
Bro, cut it out, man. Let me tell you. The thing about it is, we got the kids doing it, but on a low level. Like you see the kids on the train, selling the cookies, the candy. I buy every time. They sell buy what I can have 2 bottles more in my car. Let me get two. Let me get an Oreo. Let me get a Welch's gummy joint, whatever. I'll grab it because they're really trying to work. But my thinking is this: why don't me, you, your mother, and my mother open a bodega?
real
All it
talk.
requires is the space and the supplies from Jetro, BJ's, or Costco. And
Real talk.
guess what we not going to do? We not going to rob our own people. We going to make money, but we're not going to rob them because
Right.
they're our people. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure my bodega is about 4 or 5 blocks from my house.
Hmm.
Why? Because I want people to see me walk into the bodega, see me walk home. People say, oh, that's dangerous. Yeah, but guess what? It's dangerous for me to see me walk from the bodega to my car. If they want
Yeah.
me, they'll get me.
Yeah.
But I purposely, my wife and I, we moved in a black neighborhood so people could see us, the children could see us.
Right.
We live
Right.
with a black family, and I'm saying why we don't have a bodega situation on lock. All these brothers be having this money flashing for the gram, big
But
paper.
there's nothing with it.
Dude, all you gotta do is pay. If you got that much money, I got an investment proposition for you. Pay this rent for 6 months and give me $4,000 for inventory. I
Hmm.
guarantee you'll clear by the end of the year.
No, that's a great proposition, man. But we need that more often, you know, for real. But not so much as asking why don't we do this or offering a proposition, but more so challenging our people to do so.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, and I think that's what it is. We don't challenge. It's like it's almost like, first off, let me just say I am totally against gatekeepers. You know, so I'm definitely one of those people who's going to share every single thing that I know.
Yes.
But if I see you're not doing nothing with that, that's even more infuriating.
Right.
You know, because it's like I just gave you
Right.
all the keys to the life and you didn't open not one door.
Right.
You know, and some people just be like, you know, I'm gonna cut you off. I mean, sometimes that's necessary, but
Yeah.
for a lot of times I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I just need to kick you in the back of your head a little harder. Like, maybe I need to
It's
do
right.
something to activate that, you know, to activate that sense that's up there, like that you're not
That's
using.
true. That's
You
true.
know, so yeah, we definitely need to hold our family, our brothers and sisters a little more accountable.
Right.
Um, you know, and I think that's really the key to winning. So we do have about 5 minutes left. I drew up some questions. They're not exactly pertaining to your profession. It's just more,
Mhm.
well, you can say they do. But it was just more so from my interest. So my first one is the kids you've taught over, well, first off, how long have you been creating content?
I just well, it's funny. I started like what was it, maybe 2000 and I don't know, man. It's 7 years ago, so maybe 2017. But I stopped because I went back to school, right? So
Okay.
I stopped. But then I realized when I started getting closer to ending my doctoral journey, I had more time. So it started up again a year ago.
Got it. So the follow up to that was, do any of the kids that you teach now or have taught in the past, do they find you online and they're just like, oh,
Yes. If you go to my TikTok, they go to the comments in my TikTok. Hey, Dr. Abdullah. Hey, Mr. Abdullah. It's such. What you doing, Mr. Yo, they'll call my students this year. I saw you on YouTube. I'm like, oh, here we go. But I learned that I asked them, did you like what you see? Oh, my mother was watching it. Oh, okay, that's what's up. So yeah, they find me all the time.
nah, that's dope. So when I was working with the kids, the song, your favorite song, they at one point, like when I had made the song before I started working with the kids.
Mhm.
So when I got, it's like I'm talking like the song came out a month before I got the job. So when I got the job, I was just like, how the hell do I keep this private? So I ended up keeping it private, but it's like as I was doing my job, these kids got more and more curious about me. So
Right.
one day they came there and they were singing the lyrics, and I'm like, no way. But then, um, so this was one of the kids who was like a little, dysfunctional.
Right.
Parent came up one day trying to fight me or whatever. Then when they realized it was me, they was like, "Wait, I saw you on YouTube." But they were talking about a whole nother video
Right.
to a song that I made
Nice.
about being homeless. So
Nice.
they were like, "Wait a minute." So we saw you in like different lights, and it was like pretty dope to see. Like, okay, you're here serious teaching the kids, but then you're here telling stories
Right.
lyrically. So I think that's pretty dope that they do eventually figure out what you're doing, and it opens up a new level of inspiration.
Right.
So
Right.
don't ever stop what you're doing.
Appreciate you.
Um,
Appreciate you.
in regards to your content, um, two-part question. How did you get into social media and who edits your content for you? Because I love what you do, by the way, like the way you have your subtitles. I don't know if they're AI generated, but your thumbnails that you have for each video, I pay attention to a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I see. I
walk me
see
through that real
that.
quick.
Well, I actually it's funny. I
We
do
got
my
three
own
minutes, by the way.
thumbnail.
Sorry.
Huh?
We got 3 minutes left, by the way, just to
Okay.
throw that.
I use my own. I use an AI generator for my thumbnails. As far as my editing, I found a guy in Bangladesh.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I was trying to find somebody stateside, man, but everybody was trying to rob me, and I'm like, dude, I'm not
Yeah,
making money doing my content. I'm just it would be nice to make money for it, but right now I'm just trying to get the information out there.
right,
And
right.
so I'm actually spending money to make
Hmm.
content, which is crazy. I spend money to make money. I mean, spend money to not make money. You get me? So I have a guy in Bangladesh. He's not no Pakistan. I'm sorry, he's in Pakistan. He's 9 hours ahead of me. So it's crazy. I shoot something at 1 o'clock in the morning. He's already about to go to bed. Damn near. So he does really good editing. We've been working together for so long that I could just shoot him a raw video and he'll put it together
Hmm.
to me like that.
That's dope.
So that's kind of what I do for that for my editing.
All the
That's
way
what I do with that.
from Pakistan. That's
All the way
dope.
from Pakistan, baby.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Well, thanks for coming on and having this conversation with me. Thanks for sharing your light to the world. We often mistake social media for like the publicity of it, but you're taking advantage of it and you're doing it the way that it should be used. So, thank you for being a light to the community.
I want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate this platform, being able just to talk to you. I have so much respect for you as a black man and specifically as an
Appreciate
artist
that.
because your music is fire to me. You already know that. So I appreciate
Yes.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna say my farewell to everyone else watching.
All right. All right.
No doubt, we'll chop it up.
Peace, brother.
All right, guys. Oh, you got to exit. All right, guys. That's the end of the episode. As you can see, you can chop it up with this on YouTube. I'll be posting the full episode, or you can watch it here on this page. If you go subscribe to All Things Education Official, you will find Dr. Abdullah and all of his videos. You will also hear a song that's unreleased by your boy. It's called Propaganda, and it's the theme song for these podcast episodes. The song will be released at some point this year. Just working on where I'm going to release it, but it will be available to you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for showing love, and thanks again to Dr. Abdullah for sharing his knowledge. Peace.